Thank you. Good morning to you all. Let me start with interest rates. Following the monetary tightening measures implemented by the central bank since end 2015, market interest rates have increased to substantially high levels. Market interest rates have increased by a minimum of 200 basis points from December 2015 to end 2016, with lending rates in particular recording higher increases. Amidst high interest rates, growth of credit to the private sector remained high at 21.9%. Private sector credit increased by Rs 78.7 billion in December compared to the increase of Rs 81.3 billion in November 2016. On a cumulative basis, private sector credit increased by Rs 754.9 billion in 2016 in comparison to Rs 691.4 billion in 2015. As a result of the growth of credit to the private and public sectors, broad money growth remained at the elevated level of 18.4% by end 2016. It is anticipated that the growth of money and credit would gradually moderate during 2017 towards a level consistent with the anticipated real economic growth and mid-single-digit inflation. Despite the recent increasing trend in core inflation, headline inflation remained within the tolerance range of mid-single digits. Headline inflation based on CCPI for January 2017 was 5.5% year-on-year and 4.3% on an annual average basis. Based on NCPI, headline inflation for December 2016 was 4.2% year-on-year and 4% on an annual average basis. Core inflation in January 2017 based on CCPI was 7% year-on-year and 4.7% on an annual average basis. Based on NCPI, core inflation for December 2016 was 6.7% year-on-year and 5.9% on an annual average basis. Inflation is projected to remain at mid-single-digit levels on average during 2017. There have been notable improvements in fiscal consolidation. In response to the continuous efforts taken towards enhancing revenue, government revenue as a percentage of estimated GDP increased to 10.8% during January to October 2016 from 9.7% recorded in the same period of 2015. Total expenditure and net lending increased to 15.3% of GDP during the first 10 months of 2016 due to the increase in capital expenditure and net lending to 3.6% of GDP. The overall budget deficit as a percentage of GDP declined to 4.4% in the first 10 months of 2016 from 5.4% in the same period of 2015. Earnings from exports contracted while expenditure on imports increased during the first 11 months of 2016. Earnings from exports contracted by 2.7% to USD 9.4 billion during the first 11 months of 2016. This reflects lower exports of transport equipment, petroleum products, and agricultural exports such as tea, spices, and minor agricultural goods. Expenditure on imports increased by 1.7% to US $17.6 billion during the first 11 months of 2016. Import expenditure on intermediate and investment goods increased during this period. The trade deficit during January to November 2016 increased to US $8.2 billion from US $7.6 billion recorded during the same period of 2015. Earnings from tourism and workers' remittances have increased in 2016. Tourist arrivals for the period January to December 2016 grew by 14% to 2,050,832, and for January 2017, tourist arrivals increased by 12.9% to 219,360. Earnings from tourism grew during the period January to December 2016 by 14% to US dollars 3.4 billion, and in January 2017, tourism earnings increased by 12.9% to US dollars 363.6 million. Workers' remittances in December 2016 increased by 10.7% to US dollars 684.6 million. For the period January to December 2016, worker remittances increased by 3.7% to US dollars 7.2 billion. The Sri Lankan rupee, which depreciated by 3.8% against the US dollar during 2016, recorded a depreciation of 0.6% this year up to 7th February 2017. The Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the pound sterling by 2.2%, euro by 2.4%, the Japanese yen by 4.6%, and the Indian rupee by 1.7%. Gross official reserves were estimated at around US dollars 5.5 billion as at end January 2017. With regard to the monetary policy decision, the Monetary Board was of the view that the economy is gradually responding to the stabilization measures adopted by the central bank and the government since late 2015. However, close monitoring of macroeconomic developments is necessary in the period ahead with a view to adopting further corrective measures if required. Therefore, the board was of the view that at this stage, the monetary policy stance of the central bank is appropriate and decided to keep the policy interest rates unchanged. The current rates, therefore, are: the standing deposit facility rate is 7%, the standing lending facility rate is 8.50%, and the statutory reserve ratio is 7.50%. Thank you.